Hello, and thanks for joining today's Petrosys webinar. My name is Ewan Rule, and I work in the UK office helping to guide our product direction. This webinar introduces Petrosys 2018.2. The webinar will last around 15 minutes. It will be recorded and will be available to view in the videos page of our website. The audience will be muted, but please enter any questions in the panel and I'll answer them at the end. 2018.2 continues our Agile development policy and includes several entirely new features. It was released in June, just 3 months after the initial 2018 release. We'll have a look at some of the highlights of a live demonstration and I'll finish with the questions and answers. The main new features in 2018.2 include a Probabilistic Resource Calculator added to our volumetrics, direct display of Excel spreadsheet tables, support for Petrel 2018.1 including the new structural framework, histogram color bar display and editing. We've updated and improved the base maps used by our location maps, and you can now loop over map extents so you can batch create maps over multiple areas of interest. The Probabilistic Resource Calculator takes outputs from Petrosys volumetrics and computes a range of outcomes for oil and gas volumes using Monte Carlo simulation. There are different compute methods available and also different distribution types. Volumes can be computed for oil, gas, or oil and gas. When the volumetrics are run, the data is securely sent to a read-only Petrosys managed cloud dbmap web instance. Additional input distribution values for geology and fluids can be added before the results are computed. The resulting distributions can be viewed in a plot, and there is an option to download the results to an Excel spreadsheet. Data is not stored in the cloud. The Probabilistic Resource Calculator will have its own webinar soon, so please watch out for this on our website if you'd like to learn more. There are some additional features which we also won't cover in the demo. There are major improvements to performance when displaying seismic data directly from Petrel. 2D navigation will be up to 6 times faster to display, and interpretation up to 25 times faster. It's also now possible to select 3D subsurveys and their associated cropped horizons. Title blocks are now available for creation and editing in Excel, as well as CGM format, and this makes it much easier to make minor changes. Legends stored in map styles now have an option to maintain the size of a legend box and resize the contents, using multiple columns if necessary. This prevents the legend resizing itself and obscuring other features. All polygon data sources, for example GIS polygons like shapefiles, are now supported in both grid arithmetic and also volumetrics. We'll now start our live demo. We'll start by looking at the new option to display Excel spreadsheet data directly. We've got a map here of the Norwegian North Sea with pipelines displayed from a shapefile. I've also got an Excel spreadsheet with some additional attribute information that I would like to put in the map. In previous versions of Petrosys, we would take a screenshot of the spreadsheet table and use the display picture option to position in the map. When we zoom in, you can see that the text is quite pixelated, and of course it's a static image, so if you changed anything in the spreadsheet, you would need to repeat this process. In 2018.2, we've added an option to display an Excel table. You can do this from the menu or by clicking on the icon. So choose your spreadsheet, the individual worksheet that you'd like to work with, and you can also restrict what's displayed to a data range if you choose. This time when we zoom in, you'll see that the text is rendered much more clearly. So this is regardless of the zoom scale. I'll zoom in further and you'll see the text is still high quality. We've got one missing cell here, and I happen to know that the correct value for this start location is Draupner. So back in my spreadsheet, I'll just copy and paste that. And once I save my spreadsheet, when I refresh in the Petrosys map, you'll see that the data displayed in the table here is also automatically refreshed. So no need to repeat anything. One other new piece of functionality related to Excel is the ability to use an Excel spreadsheet to define a custom title block. So you can see here we've got our title block defined from an Excel spreadsheet, and this is what the spreadsheet looks like. It's really easy to use pictures in here or define your line thicknesses, your font sizes and colours, all those different aspects within Excel. And it's very easy to make minor edits in here and then see it in your Petrosys map. Next we're going to look at some new functionality relating to Schlumberger's Petrel. I have a project here which is in Petrel version 2018.1, and this project is for the new structural framework. So as with many other data types, with the new structural framework faults and horizons, we can simply click on the item in the Petrel data inventory and drag and drop it into the Petrosys map to see it displayed and work with it in the Petrosys environment. So you can see we've got a nicely rendered grid and faults here, but another change you'll notice is that we've automatically imported both the Petrel color bar and the settings for it from Petrel. So there's no need to manually import color palettes from Petrel anymore. They'll come in with your grids. If we want to edit the color bar, you can see we're also now displaying the data histogram in here, which makes it easier to set specific colors for highs in your data or perhaps over a range of data options. You can also now put a color bar into a corporate map template, and this white area here is actually what we call a skeleton color bar. So it's got a white border. Currently it's not displaying anything. If I want to populate that, I can drag the surface that I want in there and you'll see the color bar now updates. So as I mentioned, we've now got histogram color bar display, and we'll have a look at the new options in here. There's a new tab for the histogram. You can choose where you want to display a cumulative histogram or not. And you can also choose to have the histogram displayed in its own color bar as well as the existing one. One final thing about the display of color bars is that we can equalize the data over the histogram. So if you've got data that has a wide variety of z-values or has some anomalies in it, you might find that this option is useful to help you understand the data that you're currently viewing. You can also use the structured surface data in gridding in Petrosys, and don't forget that you can use it in the Petrosys 3D viewer, which is an excellent QC tool for this sort of data and also allows you to combine data from Petrel with other interpretation systems. The next thing we'll look at is looping over map extents. I've got a map here that we've received from the UK Oil and Gas Authority. So they've released this map in support of a forthcoming 31st offshore licensing round. And you can see we've got the new blocks that are available displayed in this purple colour. Now what I would like to do is create a whole range of maps across the North Sea, but in more detail, and I would like one for each UKCS quad. So for those of you unfamiliar with the UKCS, 1 degree of latitude by longitude is a quad, and that's what these blue rectangles are. So the way we go about doing this in Petrosys is we start off with creating a map for one individual quad. And you see I've got the data displayed here from mainly GIS data sources. I've got my 31st round blocks in the purple colour, I've got existing licenses in yellow, I've got some 2016 seismic. The well locations are coming from a shapefile in this case. It could come from a corporate database, and you could also have a grid of something like a key horizon in here, or bathymetry. Now the data is going to remain the same, but what we want to do is produce a map for each of these quadrants. A few other things to notice on here. We've got the dynamic location map, so the quad highlighted is going to change as we loop through the extents. And if we just open up the location map, we'll see there are quite a few changes in here too. If you're working with a world projection, you'll find there are more methods available to you in here, so we've got things like hammer and plat carry. But importantly, there are many more options for the base map. So country outlines is what we provided before. We've now also got state and province outlines, or you can select a Petrosys DBM file to be the base map for your location map. We don't support all the display data sources for this sort of DBM. However, you can use things like shapefiles, geodatabases, raster images, or web map services. You can also choose an individual shapefile to be the background of the map. Now, if you've got some shapefiles and DBMs you want many people to be using, you can set up a new location in your repository, so a central repository, and store all your location map templates in here. And you can see this is where I've got this UKCS template, which is showing me the quads, coastlines, and the field outlines. But you could also have something coming from a WMS, or you can have as many different location map templates in here as you want. You'll also see we've got a legend in here. So the legend is part of the map template. We have a new option here to fit the content inside the box. So if we added a lot more items, the legend wouldn't grow and overpost items below it. It would just get resized into the box. And related to that, if we want to have multiple columns, so there is more space to add things, it's very easy to do that now. Last thing I'd like to mention in here is the title block includes the quadrant number of this template map. So to do the actual looping, we need to go into the surface modelling option. So there's two things we're going to do. We're going to use the automatic tools draw map option. So this takes our template map, and we script a few different parameters in here so that we do things like replacing the contents of a title block, and we're going to append these out to a new PDF file. The new functionality is in the looping itself. There is now an option to loop over map extents, and it's very easy to add in as many or as few extents as you want to work with. I'm not going to loop over all the extents in the UKCS, just the ones over the North Sea. Now it'll take a few seconds for this to run as the maps are created and written into the PDF. So I'll just show you what the final output looks like in this case. And what we have is a PDF file over around about 20 or 25 different quads. And as I scroll through them, you can see that the data types displayed in the map remain the same. We've got the same blocks, the same symbology, everything in the legend's consistent. But you can see the quad is getting updated in the dynamic location map, the quad numbers getting updated in the title block, and indeed the area of interest keeps on changing. So if you wanted to update all your field maps for new wells, if you wanted to update all the license blocks with a new key surface, this is a really useful option to do workflows like that, so you can automatically regenerate your outputs very quickly and with minimal effort. So that concludes today's live demo. We'll just finish off back in PowerPoint. So in summary, Monte Carlo simulation of volumetrics is a major new feature. The Probabilistic Resource Calculator is not new and is extensively used by our PLDB clients. It provides all Petrosys PRO customers with an alternative for risking their volumes. There's a range of colour bar enhancements which will enhance display and aid understanding of your data. All clients will benefit from much improved display of Excel spreadsheet data. and Petrel clients will benefit from a range of improvements and can be confident they'll be able to work with structural surface data as soon as they upgrade to Petrel 2018.1. That concludes today's webinar. Thank you for your time. I will now answer any questions.